A2D radio. And if I sound like I got a little extra pep in my step, it's because of our next guest, Michael Barkann, who joins us. Michael and I worked together for years at then Comcast Sportsnet, now NBC Sports Philadelphia. And if you're new to the show, what we basically do is we kind of walk through the career journey, the life of people that you may know, to see how they got to that point, and just to sort of show the twists and the turns that tend to happen along the way to get folks to where they are, what drives them, etc. No better example than a guy who brings it every time he is on than my friend Michael Barkann. And we welcome him to the Rob Ellis Show. Michael B., how we doing?
What's up, Robert? How are you, buddy?
You look chill, man.
Show, man.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a way I can turn the camera around?
Turn it. Yeah, let's do it.
Do that? Hang on.
Let's do it.
I don't know how to do it though.
You got it. Looks like it's moving.
Cam.
All right.
Oh, okay. I'll just do that. That's why I'm chilling. That's my view. Can you see it?
Nice.
Is that nice?
The last segment, you're going to run into the ocean and do some cannonballs.
From here to eternity.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. I love it.
Good to see you.
Hanging off a building. Good to see you.
Thanks for taking a couple minutes here, because I know how crazy things are. I know you have a doubleheader today, with the Phils and whatnot after the postponement last night. But always good hanging with you, man. And for people who may not know,
same.
Yeah, Michael is the pre and post game host for the Eagles and the Phillies on NBC Sports Philadelphia, longtime host Daily News Live, as well as Sixers, Flyers, you name it, extraordinary. He could do it all. That's for sure. So, Michael, let's start with that. I'm gonna. Usually we'll go back, and we will go back in a second, but let's talk present day. What a wild weekend we had, Phillies wise, with the whole Ovations thing. Really caught fire nationally. I think it really touched, for lack of a better word, Trea Turner and his teammates too. How did you see the whole thing?
I saw it as an absolute mark of beauty for Philadelphia. I thought it was absolutely wonderful, and I think we expect a day's work for a day's pay in this town. I don't care what you do, whether you're a teacher, you're a doctor. We want to know that you're giving your utmost. And the bottom line is, Trea Turner is giving his utmost. I mean, there's no doubt that he was trying as hard as he can, and still is. There is a matter of the money to me, and a lot of people like to discount that and say, "Oh, he's a human being," which is true. He is a human being, and everybody, regardless of how much, I don't care if you're the president or you take away trash for a living, whatever it is, you need an atta guy or an atta girl every now and again when you're down in the dumps, and I think that is what Friday night represented for Trea Turner, and the fans know that he is trying as hard as he can. The fans know that he is failing to compare to he's a 294 career hitter. He can field his position to a fare thee well, and he was failing to do those things. I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm. He was way below average in both of those categories. I'm taking these off because I'm sweating right through them. And hello. And so I think some people have said that there was someone on Twitter or on the internet who suggested that. I think it would have happened organically anyway, because of how well the team is doing, how they're right there, and who wants this guy to fail? I mean, you would have to be an idiot to think that it would help a guy to be booed by his own fans, especially if he's trying. And look at Alec Bohm. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great example. Was it his rookie year when he said, "I don't want, I want to be anywhere but here. I don't want to be in this town."
Yep.
And he came out after the game. He said, "That was a dumb thing. Of course, I didn't mean it. I was frustrated." And in the moment, the next night, he got a standing ovation. That's how we roll in Philadelphia. It is the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. And I think that was on full display on Friday night. And I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up why it works. I mean, there's a precedent that wasn't all that long ago that the fans see. Look at the way this guy turned around his career, Alec Bohm. He was a rookie. Career is probably a stretch, but look at the way he turned things around and started playing so well. I think the other part of it, Michael, is when you take accountability, you buy yourself a little bit more time, in my estimation. Like, Trea Turner was clearly owning it. I mean, the other day he says, "I cost us the game." You could look at the guy and know that he's just lost. Right. So I think if he was saying, hey, you know what, Stott should have made that play. It wasn't really my play. He was putting it off on somebody else. I think there would have been less, willingness from the fans to back him. But he's owned it. You're right. And ultimately, if he's your player, what do you get out of crushing him? You want him to play well because you want your team to win at the end. Yeah, you want accountability, but he was taking accountability. He just wasn't. We all been there. You get your wheels spinning and you have a hard time getting out of whatever your situation is.
Yeah, I will say, though, the caveat is if this continues, and in particular, like, it's the hardest thing in sports to hit a baseball, round ball with a round bat. That's one thing, to be below average at that. It's another to be unable to field your position. So if that continues, that's one of the reasons I wanted Rhys Hoskins gone. I thought he was a great I still do, great clubhouse guy. Mm-hmm. He can get you a home run when the chips are down every now and again. Yep. He can get you doubles. He's great. He's slow as molasses. Okay. But if you can't field your position and that is costing your team games, you got to go. Yep. So with regard to Trea Turner, you can only play that card once or twice, and if you're not hitting, all right, I know everyone goes into a slump sometimes for a season, and it's terrible, but it happens. But you can't field your position, and your team loses because of it. No, so I think the fans will have little patience for that if it continues, and I don't think it will.
No, I agree. So we always do an agree to disagree question, Michael, and I'll pose this to you. So, and I think we got your answer, but agree to disagree that the standing ovation was justified for that moment in time.
No, I hated it. I thought it was really bad.
Screw him. No.
Screw that guy. They should have booed him and thrown stuff. No, it's like I know how outspoken you were, my friend, on the Chase Utley home run applause.
Oh, God.
With the Dodgers. And I don't know how I felt about that. I'm not trying to take it another direction, but here's a guy, a multi-time All-Star, responsible in no small part for the team's first World Series in since 1980, and he comes back, he gets the ovation of his career maybe, and welcome home Chase, and then he hits a home run. Especially with hindsight, I don't like it. I don't know. I mean, I think they should have. I don't know what they should have done. Maybe booed then cheered, or cheered then booed to kind of show the Philadelphia style. But the second home run, you're absolutely right. I would have gone around slapping people. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah,
playing against our team.
You're walking up to the box. That's the time. Like, hey, go crazy. He deserves every second of that adulation. I'm talking Utley, obviously, not Turner. But go crazy here. But when he's homering against your team, it's just weird to me that he's trying to beat you. He wouldn't. Chase Utley wouldn't be cheering for Chase Utley in that situation. Chase Utley would kick Chase Utley's ass.
Yeah. Okay. And I think he kind of looked around like, are they serious? Do they know I'm wearing blue?
Right. But you would agree that the Turner thing was justified for that. I do too. I liked the first standing O. I did.
I loved it. I loved it. And it was so thunderous, but also so heartfelt that it really it brought me. It didn't bring me to tears, but I got a little lump in my throat because I thought, I don't care if this guy's making 27 million plus. I understand that, and there are expectations with that, but he's having a bad time, man. Yep. He really is, and you saw his mom. His mom was in tears.
Oh, God.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Did you hear his quotes after the game about what he said? I wish I had played here since I'm a rookie.
Right.
And I think that's what we embody as Philadelphia sports fans. And we care, man. We care, and we're downtrodden. And you know it. We care, and we're downtrodden. And that makes for quite a combination when you get butts in the seats. Absolutely does. One of the greatest moments of my career as a fan, and certainly as a broadcaster, is the Bryce Harper home run. And what was it, game 3, game 5? I don't remember. And I was in the seats.
5. Yeah.
And I was in the seats, and what I would do is I go to the press box, but I would stop and see my family in the seats first. Do the pregame, stop and see my family, and Harper's coming to the plate. I'll send it to you. I actually have it on video. I'm walking down, and I say, he's going to hit a home run here.
Oh.
And my family doesn't know that I'm at the end of the aisle, in the aisle. And people are saying, "Hey, Michael," but he hits the home run, and it is bedlam. It is just bedlam. And I'm watching them, and I'm almost crying because they're so happy. Yeah. Everybody's happy. That's what sports does, especially in a city like ours.
It unites. It's the ultimate unite.
Yep. You're right. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, but I think the other part of it too is, Michael, and this is particular to the two teams that you do, cover and do pre and post for. I think I can't remember a time when a Phillies team and an Eagles team almost, universally had so many likable guys. Like, even with good teams, there are times where like somebody's a jerk or you're like, oh, this guy or whatever. Almost across the board. Think about it. On this Phillies roster and on the Eagles roster, not only are they likable, they're like lovable kind of guys. Yeah. Kelsey, et cetera. Phillies with, and Harper, the way he's sort of embraced the city. It's amazing.
It is. And I think many times, the more lovable they are, the better they are in many cases. You know how difficult it is to play Major League Sports? I can only dream about it, but I've seen these guys, as you have, for the entirety of our careers. And, I remember playing sports in high school, and I remember the day I ran track and cross country, played a little basketball, and I remember the day of a meet or the day of a game. And I was like that tight, man. You know what I mean? I could barely pay attention in class. And I'm thinking, these guys do this for their careers. These guys do this to get paid. And they're like talking and joking around. Man, I had none of that. It was because I just couldn't. Right. Even when my wife and when Ellen and I were dating, we'd be driving to the vet and she'd be accompanying me. We'd be driving to the vet for a story. And she'd be like, "Why aren't you talking?" And she used to call it the Veterans Stadium Funk. And she still will, because you concentrate, you tighten up. So these guys, the fact that they're lovable, the fact that they whether it's Bryce Harper or Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh, they just seem to be really good people. That's important, and I think it's in no small part to Dave Dombrowski. It's in no small part to Howie Roseman. You got all these people to choose from. Mm-hmm. Why go with the jerks? Why not have nice people playing for you?
Yeah, well, that's a great point. It is a great point. So Michael and I go way back, for folks who may not know.
Yes, sir.
You were the original, the OG host of Daily News Live, the OG of DNL. A lot of initials. Yeah, baby. So you did an incredible job. Let me add.
That was with your help.
Well, look, Emmy Award winner. No, but for real, I loved every second.
He batted 359 last year. He had 25 yards rushing in the first half last day.
Yeah,
it's man. Rob Ellis, man.
And of course, Judge Wapner at 7. No,
I'm a good driver.
What did he like? What was his pop? He liked the what was the food that he liked? He liked the
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, it's his birthday today, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. Dustin Hoffman is 80. I'll tell you right now. So I'm going back to my old producer role here for you.
I did not. Wait, tell me in my ear.
He's 80. He's 86 today. All right. So anyway.
Wow, is he really?
He is.
Holy smokes.
He doesn't look a day over 85, man. It's
no, he doesn't.
I'm kidding. Anyway, I had the good fortune of producing Daily News Live from 2000 to 2010, and I got to tell you, it was the most fun I've had. Professionally, I will tell you that it was a blast.
Same here.
And you think about it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. You are the? I'm just going through the Rolodex in my head. Are you the lone original on-air talent from Comcast Sportsnet in 1997? Yeah. Are you still the? Wow.
Yes, I don't think there's. I go through my mind. Everybody has moved on. And I think the last person was Gunner, our friend Derek Gunn. Yep. And it's been just over 3 years since he left. And, Pete Christie and Pat Boyle and G. Lynam and,
Leslie Goodell, Neil Hartman. Ron Burke. It was a great lineup.
Ron Burke.
Yeah.
I actually saw Ron a couple of years ago. It was great. I think he's in New Mexico.
He is. He's doing news in New Mexico. Yes.
Yeah. And it's just great. It's great to see everybody. It really is.
But a credit to you for that kind of longevity, man. If you had to, part of what we do, Michael, on the show is we it's not just sports. It is sports sprinkled, right? But it's also career, life, the way you go about things. If you could say, give us one, capsize one reason why you've been able to have that kind of staying success, what would it be?
I think really, I think it's the old Clint Eastwood line. The man's got to know his limitations, and I think that I know what my strengths are, and I know what my weaknesses are. They are many. I think I hope you would back me up. I think I'm a pretty happy person. I think I'm a fly off the handle guy. I'm a rah guy, and so I think those are my pluses. But I also know if I don't have a Rob Ellis helping me, if I don't have a Sean Kane helping me, or Mike Mulhern helping me, then I'm up a creek without a paddle. Really, I mean, and I think it's one of the reasons I had a difficult time in sports talk radio. I mean, I love sports. I love talking about the game. But my God, you know how hard it is.
You don't get you don't get the kind of help, not help, but you don't have the support system that you have in TV.
And you don't. And I got to, you also, and I'm not trying to knock myself too badly here, but you have to have something to say, like legit, right in here, I have something to say. And I got a lot to say on a lot of stuff, but I don't have 4 hours a day to say.
Yeah.
Especially you get into the summer, the Eagles haven't started up yet, the Phillies are languishing, the Sixers are nowhere, the Flyers are nowhere to be seen schedule wise, and so so I'm happy to admit that I need help, and it's a collaborative effort, and it always has been, and it always will be. I don't care whether it's me or anybody else. But I really believe my success is I do have stick-to-itiveness. I do bounce back from adversity. I do try to do things with a smile. I think personality matters. I think being a good person matters. I think if you're a jerk, then you better be that much better if you're a jerk. And that even goes for being an athlete, in my book. So yeah, that's what I don't know.
All right, well, I'll say this.
What would you say?
First of all, you're being very humble and modest. So here's what I would say to answer the question that I asked you about you. I'll answer it.
Okay.
You bring the juice every day. And there's never a time where I felt like you were going through the motions, or you are presently going through the motions. And that's a true credit, because you can sniff that out really quick when people are just kind of like, yeah, Phillies win. You care, and you can see it. What I appreciate, even in your host role, where you have to be a quarterback, right? You have to be, I'm going to Ricky. I'm going here. Well, let's go here. Blah, 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 blah. You got to be a point guard. You really do. But you will infuse your opinions and your passion without ducking things. In other words, so let's say there was an awful base running error that was made by fill in the blank. You'll go after that guy and call it out. You'll also go the other way. Hey, look, you got to give it up for Taijuan Walker, who gives up 3 in the first, but only gives up 1 the next 6 innings. You're not just someone who, with producers telling in your ear, all right, tee Ricky up for this. You have an opinion. Right. I think that's key. I think that you're prepared. I think you care. I think you know of what you speak. I think all of those things. Like you are being very modest, and it takes a village for all of us. But I think you don't last as long as you do just based off of the people around you. You got to be able to bring it every single time, and you're smooth on top of everything else.
Well, thank you so much. Don't make me cry, man. That's no, I mean it.
This is our Barbara Walters moment, so feel free. Tear up.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? I can't tell you what that means to me, and because there's no one I respect more than you in life. Forget about this business. I know how hard you work. I know how you bring it every day as well, and that's you set an example for me. A guy like Sean Kane sets an example for me. Mike Mulhern sets an example for me, and it's tough, man. It really is tough, and it all. I don't know how many young people you have listening to this podcast or broadcast, but I mean, it really is about, getting out of bed when you don't want to, and doing things that you don't want to do. And it's not a strength of mine. It's just not. And from the time I was a little kid, my father would be like, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Can you shovel the walk? Can you cut the grass? And so, I guess that's good. My mom would always say, "It's so good that you know that about yourself, honey." I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, it's great that I know it, but if I'm not acting on it and trying to make it better, what the hell good
But
is
that's
it?"
a mom thing to say. That's a
good.
positive.
Yes,
Moms are positive.
You're self-aware. It's
Yeah.
so great. I'm self-aware. Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I want to do. So I want to go back to the beginning, like first. No, I want to go back to the early years.
Jersey City.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to just sort of the career arc and what got you to where you got, some moments where you had to make a tough call. I'm going to leave this city. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. Follow your gut a little bit and just kind of get into things a little bit more for the pathway for you. So we'll get a quick timeout, Michael. It'll be a quickie. So we'll be right back. You can't go in the ocean yet. We need you to just hold tight. I know you're excited. So there it is. You'll be pretty soon. You'll be able to jump in. But as soon as we come back, we will get sort of the beginning of the Michael Barkann career. Appreciate everybody hanging out. This is the Rob Ellis Show on A2D Radio. Right back.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right. Welcome back. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate Michael Barkann giving us some of his time today. I am Rob Ellis. This is the Rob Ellis Show, A2D Radio Network. All right, Michael. So let's go back. You said Jersey City, but grew up in East Brunswick. Am I correct there? Okay.
Yes. Also, a little known fact: born in the same hospital as Tom McCarthy, the voice of the Phillies.
Whoa.
Yes. Same
Okay.
mother too. Same.
Oh my God. Somewhere T-Mac's getting a text right now. Like
I was born way before the great Tom McCarthy.
I love Tom.
But me too. I was driven about him. Same hospital. Grew up in East Brunswick, New Jersey. The main street of East Brunswick, right near Rutgers.
Okay.
New Brunswick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So grew up it was sort of Central Jersey-ish, North Jersey area. Mm-hmm. Now and I know after high school went to Syracuse, big proud Syracuse alumna, and your daughter is a Syracuse graduate as well. Congrats.
And my folks.
Your mom and dad too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where they met.
Wow, that's awesome.
No Syracuse, no me, and no Emily either.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I did not know the mom and dad piece of that. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So you come out of Syracuse, Michael. What were the options? In other words, did you have enough tape, as we used to say back in the day, demo reel, whatever it's called now, that there were options for you, or was it a real struggle to land your first TV gig? Like how did it play out for you either in the college, world or out of college?
You really want to hear the story, man? Because the story is involved.
Yes.
Man. Okay. Going into my senior year at Syracuse, I got a job as an intern at McCann Erickson Advertising in New York in the media department, which is kind of a lot of numbers crunching and cost per thousand, and the reach of a commercial.
Not Mad Men. We're not seeing like John Hamm.
No.
Okay.
And my dad had been in advertising. He was a senior vice president for several different advertising agencies during his career, and advertising was communications. I was in the school of communications. Well, what the heck? Yeah. You got to, and so I would go into New York every day with him Monday through Friday, and at the end of the internship, which was no pay, my boss said, "I'd like to hire you in the spring of '82, my graduation year. I'd like to hire you to come back work in the media department." And I said, "Of course, thank you very much. Yes." And she called me, a month before I was to graduate, and are we still good? And I said, "Yeah, we're still good." Mm-hmm. But I majored in broadcast journalism, and I thought, even at 22, with my mind as shrunken as it was then, at 22, I said, "You know what? If I take this job at McCann Erickson, I'm going to look back in 10 years and say, I wonder what would have happened if. And I called her back. Her name was Hadassah Gerber. And I called her up and I said, thank you so much for the opportunity, but I'm going to decline. And again, something in my still immature head said, you know what? If there's any time that you can not have a job and maybe get a little help from mom and dad if you need it, it's when you first get out of college. So not all my friends, many of my friends, well, I'm going backpacking through Europe and I'm going to Michigan. No, I went right to it. My girlfriend at the time also went to Syracuse. Her mom was a congresswoman from Illinois, and I went down to D.C. to be with her. I stayed at her mom's townhouse in Capitol Hill, and I told my folks, I'm going down there. I'll get a gig down there. And they were like, no, you won't. But I called around, and I finally talked to Scott Goodfellow at NBC News, and he was the bureau chief at NBC News, 4001 Nebraska Avenue in Washington, D.C. And I said, can I help you out? Is there anything I can do? He says, you don't want to work here. Come on. Yeah. And I was telling him about what I did. And I said, yes, I do. I said, let me come in and talk to you. I'll blow your socks off. And he laughed that I said that. He said, all right, come on in. So I took a job. I got the job as a desk assistant at NBC News in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And I was ripping scripts, and I was stuffing mailboxes. All the correspondents had mailboxes, and stuffing mailboxes with the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, working for Roger Mudd, who was anchoring the newscast with Tom Brokaw. Mudd was in D.C., Brokaw was in New York. And then, things were going pretty good, but my girlfriend left to go take her final year at Syracuse abroad. And I'm like, well, there's nothing in D.C. for me. So I got a job at New Jersey Network, New Jersey Public Television. And I was doing the same thing up there as I was in D.C., except there I could do, it was a union job in D.C., so you could only do certain things.
Right.
You couldn't hold a microphone. You definitely couldn't be on camera. So, but at New Jersey Network, you could. It wasn't a union shop. And it was in Trenton, New Jersey. And I would go out on stories and do interviews. And I'd call my folks and say, turn it on now. You see that hand? That's my hand in there.
I used to do that.
Doing that interview. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you proud of me?
Yeah.
It paid off.
There's my watch.
Right, exactly. Here's my watch.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. My father, in the old days, for the Brooklyn Dodgers telecast, my dad used to wear his watch with the crystal right here.
Yeah.
Because he was in the Marines. And my grandparents would look for him because they do live. He poured the beer in the beer commercials, and you'd see his hand. Those days they did it live, and they say, "There's Jeremy. There's his hands. There's the watch."
Oh my
God! But here's the thing I would say to kids, and one of the things that I think definitely helped me. While you can't judge a book by its cover, that's true. First impressions are lasting, and I always tell kids, whatever you feel is presentable, whatever that would be. You're going to a wedding or a funeral, whatever you would wear. That's what you need to wear when you show up for work, or whatever you can afford. You need to look crisp. And so at New Jersey Network, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm wearing a suit and tie or a jacket and tie. Didn't cost a lot. I was doing it on a budget. But one day, I began to write the weathercast. We didn't have a weather person in the newscast. It was the anchors, it was a business reporter, and it was a sports guy. Remember Bill Perry? He was a sports guy.
Yeah.
So, and I wrote the weathercast. We had a weather service we subscribed to, and I would put it into copy, and the anchors would read it. So one day, February 11th, 1983, I'm 22 years old.
Your memory's insane, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a monumental day in my life. Also, I was going to go down to D.C. that night. It was a Friday. I was going to go down to see my girlfriend,
right?
And this would not happen because there was a blizzard that paralyzed the entire Northeast from Boston all the way down to D.C. I mean, the snow was up to here. And they were like, weather's the lead story, and we don't have a weather person. We need someone separate to deliver the weather. And they turned to me in my suit and tie, ready to go on the air, and they said, can you do it? The guy had been writing the weather. And, I changed my underwear, and I said, yes, I could. Then I called my folks, I'm going to be on. And it was so bad because, as you know, the weathercast is if done extemporaneously, and it's a part of the newscast that, if If they're running tight, you got to go short.
Mm-hmm.
If they're running loose, you can go long. So I scripted the weather, and I am looking into the teleprompter and reading and saying the snow should end.
We've gotten 11 inches today. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Yeah. Ellen will show it to me like, oh, you think you're Mr. Big Man? Look at that. See that? But that led to me doing a taped, I don't know why they even did this. It was a taped program called Weather Watch that aired at 6:58 p.m. and 7:28 p.m. It was 30 seconds at 6:58 and a minute and a half at 7:28. They'd interrupt programming, and I'd pre-tape it. So I'd be saying, like, chance of showers, and it's like storming. He's a little off there with the forecast. And then we got a new news director, and the new news director's like, we don't need a weather No. They put weather in the news. Okay. And so I began doing weather in the news, and then we got a new news director, Mark Helms, to whom I owe a lot. And he came to me and he said, they fired the number one. They fired Bill Perry, and they made Pat Scanlon the number one guy. And Mark Helms comes to me and says, "How'd you like to be the backup sports guy?" And I said, "No. I'm a starter, man. I'm the starting weatherman. I'm one of the front four.
Oh, wow.
I'm not doing it. Take your sports and shove it." And so I went home that night. I was living at home. And I told my parents, they tried to give me backup sports. I told them, "Let's take it. What do you think?" They said, "You're a schmuck. Are you kidding me? That's all you've ever wanted to do is be a sportscaster. He just gave you the opportunity, and you're ticked because you're not going to be the number one guy." So I went back the next day with literally
tail between your legs. Yeah.
And I said, "Can I change my mind?" Yeah. And he said, "Sure." So I began doing backup sports, and that was like October '86. Mets won the series, and so by February of '87, I was in Philadelphia at Channel 3, and Randy Covington, who was then the news director, hired me to replace the late great Bob Bradley, who was the outgoing sports guy there, and I was working with Lou Tilley and Yuki Washington.
What a team that was!
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? And Robbie, in those days, I mean, it was a freaking bloodletting with regard to sports coverage in Philadelphia. I mean, on Channel 6, you had Gary Papa and Scott Palmer, and Jack Brayboy, who's the producer, who was unbelievable.
Excellent.
I mean, it was like a fight to the death. At Channel 10, it was hello there. Big Al was on the air. Bill
Ron
Burke. Still my Ron Burke.
Yeah.
And so it meant something. We were trying to kick each other's butt every single night.
That's awesome.
And it was really weird because we were all friends, but we were still trying to beat each other on stories. Scott Palmer was the first person who welcomed me to Philadelphia. I went to St. Joe's, Hawk Hill. I went to the arena to cover a game, and he was on the side. Those days, you roam the sideline.
Yeah, unbelievable access. Yeah.
Hi, Scott Palmer. I said, "Hey, I'm Michael Barkann," whatever. And so that was great.
But that's pretty impressive. Like, you were 26. You like to get hired in this market.
Yeah, I was 26.
It's damn impressive.
Thank you. I was proud of myself. So I got there and began doing sports reporting, and I'll never forget the first one of the first days I ever was the anchor, sports anchor. Tilly was off, Yuki was off, and I was scheduled to anchor. And I'm wearing it was Easter, and I'm wearing this strawberry red sports jacket, shirt and tie. And after the show, Randy Covington we'd all pick up an extension, and he would critique the show.
Right.
And on that day, one of the cameramen had to be dragged out by his heels because he suffered some kind of a cardiac event.
Oh my God.
And so I'm looking into the camera as I am right now, and behind the camera, I see this guy being dragged out.
Oh my
2,
God.
1. Michael's here with sports.
Clear. Yeah.
yeah, exactly right. Woo! Get him out. So Randy says, all right, everybody hang up. I want to talk to Michael by himself. And he says, look, if you're going to do sports in the number 3 market in the country, or number 4 market in the country, I thought he was going to say, you got to be able to handle some guy being dragged out by his heels. He said, I don't ever want to see a strawberry sports jacket again. Never again. You wear a blue blazer. I'm like, okay, fine.
Jeez.
I'll wear, yeah. And I have thought of that many times in my career when I was going to wear something perhaps inappropriate on the air.
Right.
And Randy's in South Carolina now. He's been there for a long time.
Okay. All right. So you make a tough call to leave Philly and you go to Boston. Was that, and it was the opportunity it was a WLVI, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Channel 56, which is LVI in Roman numerals.
So you go there to be the number one sports guy at the local affiliate there, correct?
Yes,
okay.
I did. But again, adversity, buddy, adversity. I don't want to say let go, but my contract was not renewed. They told me, we're shrinking this. We're going to kill a newscast. That's what I don't know if they killed the newscast or they just wanted me out, and my contract.
This was at CBS 3, you're saying, not
whatever
it was then.
Yeah. It was just Channel 3. It was
KYW.
KYW3.
Yeah.
We were the largest, and we were the largest non-O&O, non-owned and operated affiliate, NBC affiliate in the country. It was NBC at the time. So anyway, so I was not renewed, and that was like December, January 91, 92, and Ellen and I had met. We were engaged. We were going to get married, and I kind of thought it might be coming, and so it's like adversity. What are you going to do? And I wasn't going to give up the ghost. So I started looking around, and at the time I had an agent, but the agent didn't. The agent didn't help get me the gig. And they liked me, and they had me come up there, and I did. I remember one of my first days up there. The Sox were out of town. I took Ellen and we went to Fenway, and in those days they were like, "Come on in." I said, I said, "I'm the new sports guy at Channel 56. Can I just?" I don't care, man. Walk in. So I walked in, and literally you walk down, and like there is. They call it the wall. Up there, and there it is, man, right in my face.
That's awesome.
We thought we were going to stay in Boston the rest of our lives.
Well, so let's fast forward there, Michael, because this is another really tough call for you because you enjoy Boston. Your wife Ellen liked it too. She's from this area.
Yes,
you're from Central Jersey, yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's this startup called Comcast Sportsnet, and the guys who were running it were also your producers, like Tom Stathakis and whatnot, back at CBS 3, Small World, Jim Cudahy. So, you go from probably the security of the gig that you're at in Boston to, man, I don't know what the heck, what's a regional sports network? Like, what is this? So how hard was that call? And was that one that you initially turned down too?
Nope, I didn't turn it down, but we were going back and forth over what my duties were going to be. And 1 minute I was coming, the next minute I was staying, and I said to Elle, what do you think I should do? And she said, oh, no. I'm not giving you my input. I give you my input, you listen to me, it goes bad, you don't forgive me the rest of our lives. No, it's not happening. So I will support you, whatever you want to do. And we did love Boston, and Emily was born in Boston, but at the same time, I wanted her and subsequently Matt, I wanted them to know their family, and I wanted them to know their grandparents and know where they were from and experience that growing up. And so, but at the same time, has to be about, if you're the breadwinner, it's got to be about the job. Yeah. To me, if you're in that situation where you have those choices, it's got to be what is the most satisfying, what has the most potential.
Yeah. And
so ultimately, it had the Comcast name on it, and I'm thinking Comcast doesn't do anything that fails. And so I said we go, and I was doing a show. I was supposed to do a show there called Spotlight, which I did for several years. But the pay was not. I mean, I was going to have to take a pay cut. And I was like, no, I'm not taking there. There I go with like getting the backup sports job. I'm not doing this if I can. and then so they said, well, we got this other show. How'd you like to do this show called Daily News Live? And I'm like, I gotta do 2 shows,
Right.
And it was my father-in-law, who was my consigliere, who said, how are you gonna feel if you're already in the building, you're doing the Spotlight show, and you're already there. You're preparing for the same topics in the Spotlight show that you've been talking about in the Daily News Live show. Like, and they're going to give you extra cash for it.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll do it. And the rest is history, my friend.
Yes, it is. Well,
but it was tough. I remember showing up at Cudahy's house for dinner, and he opened the door. It was like old home week, and he hugs all around. And I remember my heart sank. I thought, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. I should have stayed in Boston. But then we started going. I met Rob Ellis.
Yes.
You got to give everything. You got to give everything some time. You got to give everything a try.
Yeah. No. So, listen. No question. No question. All right. Let me sneak in one more break.
You got it.
I'm going to really dig into the heart of the Comcast Sports at NBC Sports Philadelphia years, and then we'll let you jump in the ocean. So we appreciate you, Michael. We're going to take.
You know what? You take your time. There we go.
There it is.
Take your time.
I'm going in.
The ocean will be there.
All right. All right. We'll be fast. We'll be fast.
That's a nice bump shot to break. Bump to break. Ready?
All right. We'll go to break at the Atlantic Ocean on the Rob Ellis Show with our guest Michael Barkann. We'll be right back.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, we are back. Yes, Rob Ellis Show, A2D Radio, along with my guest, Michael Barkann. All right, Michael, so you make the decision. You're in. You're all in. You're going to jump in with both feet, whether it's Daily News Live, Spotlight. It's at some point you were doing Daily News Live, Spotlight, post-game show. It was insanity. Yeah. For sure. For a lot of years.
Always did Eagles.
But how cool was it for you to be back in Philly, back with Philadelphia sports after the initial sort of settle in period that, you know what, I made the call, I'm back, here we go. How cool was it for you?
Robbie, it was awesome. I can't even begin to tell you the feeling. I remember going in one day, I don't know why, we had to drop something off at what was it then, the Core State Center?
It was either First Union or Core States, yeah.
And I remember it was a September Sunday, and we weren't on the air yet. And I remember thinking, this is my place of employment here. This beautiful edifice. I could have wept. It was just gorgeous. So I thought that was cool. I thought, however it goes, this is so cool. And then, we started having the meetings, and we hit the air, and I thought, oh my God, did I make the right decision? Yeah. Thank God, thank you, Lord, that I made the right decision, because it was like, in the heyday, as you well know, we spared little expense, we covered everything was live. The whole thing with, to me, what helped put us on the map, what I think collectively told us that we were like good to go is Bobby Clark and Tim Panaccio. No, they're just going to talk to you, Tim, because you're such an asshole. Yeah. And remember that?
Great. It was great.
Yeah.
So
we were all in the newsroom cheering. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And that went all over the place. And T.O. leaving camp.
Well, think about it. We had T.O., we had Iverson, peak Iverson, just craziness, right? Yep. You had Lindros and Clark openly feuding. Yeah. Think about it now. Like Howie Roseman ripping, like his best player publicly. Like Jalen Hurts should have made that throw, or whatever. Like, that stuff doesn't happen anymore. It was happening on a daily basis. Clark was ripping his parents publicly.
They're always saying stupid things. I don't know if he was talking about the parents or the agent.
Or the agent, yeah. What are we doing? Restraint of trade.
Restraint of saying stupid things.
Yeah.
It was great. It was just great. And we were covering all that stuff. And in Philadelphia, as I said earlier, we're downtrodden. I think we are. Sixers haven't seen a championship since '83. Flyers since '74. 75.
Yep.
Eagles are always in it. Thank goodness the Phillies are back, but it's tough, and you get to the World Series last year, you fail to win it, and it's great as the season was. Like, there's only one prize that you're looking for. But I thought even with the team struggling, it was still an awesome place to be.
No question.
No question.
Well, all right. So, and obviously you love, your role doing pre and post, and but we had Ray on, and I want to ask you about this specifically when it comes to the Eagles. Now, you got to remember, this is 1998, 97, 98.
Yeah.
So it's a long time ago. But so the heads of the network go to you and they say, look, we're going to do a post game show, but we can't use any video. And, Ray was like, even Ray says it in his great Ray way. He's like, Tom, all due respect, I don't think that's going to work, or whatever. So it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. It's you, Tom Brookshire, Ray Diddy, and I don't remember who else. Was it Vaughn Hebron? The Gov. Okay. So
and
when
Vaughn,
they went
Vaughn
to you,
came later.
When they went to you with the concept, did you think they were nuts too, that this thing was going to work? Like, we're going to talk for 2 hours after the game about this?
2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't recall thinking that they were nuts. I recall thinking that it would not be easy initially, that we were going to have to overcome the lack of video. But, I had done sports talk radio in Boston, not like I would at WIP, but I knew I could carry a conversation and ask the right questions. And everybody who was watching had just seen the game. So I mean, was his arm going forward? I mean, who cares? Not who cares, but we all know what it was, and as important as the folks you just named was Gunner and our presence at the stadium, and first the vet, then the link, and Derek Gunn had a way to put the screws to a player and ask him really tough but fair questions. Sometimes maybe they weren't even well, they were always fair, but they were very tough. Yeah. And they would still talk to him the next week and the next day. And so that was huge, because no one else had the players every single week. And all anybody wanted to hear from really was Andy Reid on why you made that decision, Donovan McNabb on why you threw that pass or didn't throw that pass, and all the other players that we were able to get. That was huge. And then to have Brookie and Ray and even the Gov. Look, the Gov, he was the mayor then. I mean, we had the mayor of Philadelphia who knew his stuff.
We lost Michael there for a second. I'm sure we'll get him back up. But yeah, it was at the time, it was a very unique concept. It really was. It was one of those situations where, you're essentially picking it up right after the game. Oh, we got you back. Okay. So you just pick it right up, Michael. We just lost you a second ago.
No, you know what? I was going to ask you this question before we started, which was, what happens if I receive a phone call?
Then I take it. Yes.
Yeah, my son. So my son just called.
How dare he?
I hit the FU button, man. He's going to kill me. But and then I'm like, great. I blocked him, and now I'm still not on with Robbie.
No.
So it will come back apparently. Yeah. So anyway, but so the mayor at the time knew his stuff, and he was supposed to be, and that was a Stefakus idea. He was the voice of the fan because he was a fan. Will always have season tickets to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then there was Ray, who was a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and there was Tom Brookshire, who was in their Hall of Fame, the Eagles Hall of Fame, and Gunner. I mean, it was phenomenal.
It was what a cast.
It really was, and so the thing was to just keep it moving. If there was something to belabor, we would, but otherwise, let's move on.
Right.
Offense, defense, special teams, coaching decisions, what the quarterback moves, all of that, free agent signings if there were any.
Sure.
And initially it was just post game, and then we added pregame.
Sure.
Probably I don't think we did pregame, Rob, until like 2008.
I agree with you. It was way later. Way later. Yeah, no doubt. So, but here's what I also, Michael, about your one of the other things I should have mentioned with your longevity is your versatility, because not only were you doing your your stuff at Comcast Sports, then NBC Sports Philadelphia. Long time U.S. Open, and you have the gear on to prove it.
Oh yeah,
correspondent, right?
Yeah.
You did XFL, but you also did.
I never did that.
What? You also did. You also did Winter Olympics. I mean, like these are like bucket list kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. And really, I realized like whatever happened to that stuff, and I realized that it was a conscious decision. With again, in coming back to Philadelphia, I wanted to be with my family,
right?
You know, and I wanted to be around. And I don't know, a guy like Jim Nance, not that I'm comparing myself to Jim Nance, guy like James Brown, any of these, God bless them. But you know, you're around on Thursday and Friday, and then or during the week, and then you're off on the weekends. So that kind of went away. But 18 years from 1991 through 2008. I was the roving reporter in Flushing Meadows for the U.S. Open, and I had done the World League, not just the XFL, but actually I had done Tuesday night fights, and I think I was still at Channel 3. USA Network had a program called Tuesday Night Fights. I did that. That led to the World League of American Football in 90 and 91, and the producer and director were Ken Wolf and Craig Janoff, and they produced and directed Monday Night Football at the time. And so Wolf said to Gordon Beck, who had hired me for these gigs, you know what, you should use Michael at the U.S. Open. So Gordon Beck hired me to do the U.S. Open, and that was 18 years. It was great. I mean, it was grueling, but it was awesome. And that was like a mini Olympics every year because people coming from all over the world to New York and to decide a champion for 2 weeks. It was unbelievable. But eventually, you know, it's that thing was like 30, 40 acres, that facility. And you know, you're hoofing around on it. It's like, okay, this is fine. But it was a great run, and I loved it. I loved being there.
That's
great
cool.
Stuff.
All right, let me ask you present day. Let's just kind of run through each of the four sports, and then we'll let you finally get out of here. I appreciate all this time.
No, are you kidding me? I'm yours, baby.
So how do you view the Phillies? Are they a World Series team?
I don't know if they're a World Series. You mean to get there? Yeah,
get there or win it. Yeah, I mean either one.
Yeah. I don't know about win it. We'll see about that. You need luck, and you need to be healthy. So I don't know if I'd go that far about World Series champions, but if they keep hitting like they have the last 5 games or so, if Turner hits, Castellano hits, Harper's an absolute. I've never seen anything like Bryce Harper. He might, before it's all done. All due respect to Mike Schmidt and Bobby Clark, and you know. He might, Julius, I mean, he gets a championship or 2 under his belt, the greatest athlete we've ever seen in Philadelphia. To be able to rise to the occasion and do it when called upon, incredible. So if Turner's hitting, they call him the daycare. I call him now the preschool. They've elevated. They're in preschool now. Stott and Marsh and Bohm. I mean, this guy, Bryce Stott, I mean, if he's not the best hitter on the team, it's because Harper is hitting again. And the pitching, Taijuan Walker. I asked Ruben and Ricky the other night, like, does he have a shot to win the Cy Young if he keeps winning? I know his ERA is just under 4. Well, no, it's just over 4.
Right around 4. Yeah.
It's like 4.05. And they said no, he doesn't, because several years ago he would have, but there's just too many other pitchers that are doing great things that it would be difficult for him to win it. I'm thinking, I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. If the team wins when he pitches, he's got a 4.05 ERA and he's got 21 wins. I'm not saying he's going to get that.
Right.
You're not going to give this guy to Cy Young? I mean, come on. Who this other guy, Michael, the new guy, Lorenzen, Michael Lorenzen, that they got from Detroit.
Yeah,
he looks like he's going to be a stud. The one guy who worries me is Nola. I don't know if it's because he doesn't have a contract. I don't know if it's because he has just fallen off in his career. I don't know, but he's going to need to bring it. The bullpen has been among the best in baseball. So if all that continues, yeah, I think I'd like to see them get the top spot. But you know what, Rob? It doesn't matter, as we saw last year. All you need to do is get in.
Especially in that sport.
Time,
yep.
Yeah, and the converse of that is 2011 when they were 102 wins and they were bounced in the first round. Yeah. So, I don't care how they get in. Get in. If they got to play them all on the road, you got to play games on the road anyway. It's not consequential to me as it is to a lot of other people.
All right, let's go. Let's go Eagles, because I think our natural inclination as Philadelphia sports fans is to not allow ourselves to get too excited about things, because the sky is going to fall at some point. A safe's going to fall on our head as we walk down the street. But this thing looks pretty darn good, man. And I know there's some questions defensively, but you got Jalen Hurts in this offense and the same coach in place, and Howie Roseman doing his thing. What do you think about the upcoming season for the Birds?
I think they're going to be top quality. I think they're going to go. They have every chance to go back to the Super Bowl, and you can't say that, and I don't say it lightly, because how many teams have gone to the Super Bowl, lost, and gotten back the next year? I think it's like 8 or 9.
Very few.
In the history of the Super Bowl, it just doesn't happen. The emotional toll that it takes to get there and lose, especially in the manner they lost, is unbelievable. It would be an amazing achievement for them to do this, but I think they can. And I'm sure you saw that that NFL Network came out with its top 100 players. 1's Mahomes, 2's Justin Jefferson, and 3 is Jalen Hurts.
Incredible.
And Mahomes saying, how many more times am I going to face him? I think in my career I'm going to face him a lot. Mm-hmm. And that would be great to see these two guys. I just got chills thinking about that, because I love Patrick Mahomes and I love Jalen Hurts. And they, to quote Larry Brown, they play the right way.
Right.
And I'm so excited for this team, for Nick Sirianni. And it just goes to show you how wrong you can be about a guy. And, you know, the flowers and the roots and the whole bit. I mean, the bottom line is they play for him. They win for him and for themselves. And, you know, I think the offensive line, while long in the tooth, is going to be great. The running backs are going to be DeAndre Swift, hometown guy, going to be great. The wide receivers are among the best, if not the best, that core in the NFL. The defense is unbelievable. That front is crazy. Kobe Dean does worry me, and people are like, I remember when he was drafted, and like, oh, he's like the surprise, and he's going to be. And I look at him. I mean, am I looking at Devontae Smith, or am I looking
he's
at
small? He looks
Dean?
like a safety. He looks like a safety.
Yeah, he looks. Maybe they should play him at safety, and he's hurt right now as we do this. And so when I look at him just on physical stature, it's like if you look at a pitcher who's undersized, you look at a pitcher who's 5'8".
Right.
I mean, sorry. I mean, maybe if he's a middle reliever, but he ain't going to be a starter for a long period of time because his arm's going to go bink.
Yeah.
You know, and when I see the Kobe Dean, I feel some of that. So, yeah, I think every chance to get back there and win it.
Awesome. Listen, Michael, incredible, man. Incredible hour.
Wait, Sixers and Flyers, dude.
All right, Sixers.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
At another time, I want to do Sixers and Flyers, because I do want to get your take on Jonesy and some of the changes that's taken place there, which I think are good. You know, for sure, but a lot to dive into, that's for sure.
In Jonesy, we trust, my boy.
I'm with you.
Jonesy, we trust.
I'm with you.
So,
I'm with you. All right.
Yeah.
So
brother.
Pre and post Phillies, pre and post Eagles, does an amazing job, and we certainly do appreciate it, Michael B. Enjoy the shore, my friend. Thank you for giving us some time today.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. Right. Thanks for having me, Rob. Great show.
Take care, Michael.
Love you. All right.
The great Michael Barkann, NBC Sports Philadelphia. All right. Appreciate all you guys hanging with us today. I think we tried to hit all the sports there, but look, I'll echo what Michael was talking about a little bit earlier. I thought the standing ovation for Trea Turner was great. I did wonder, is there an expiration date? Do you do it every at bat? When you stop the next day? Now it carried over to the next day, and we know he had the explosive next day. So I'm good with it. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think there is a precedent there, you know, for sure, with what happened with Alec Boehm the year before. And as I mentioned, I think the accountability thing with Trea Turner went a long way to people backing him for sure. Now, does he have to perform? Absolutely. Will it keep up forever? No, it will not. So he's got to pull his weight. But the lost in the Royals series is all of their big boys hit. Kyle Schwarber hit. Nick Castellanos looks like he's getting it back. Harper looks like he's starting to get the power stroke back. And then Turner as well. If you combine that with as Michael says, the pre-Kers, you know, the guys who used to be the daycare, that combo is pretty lethal. So you get that going. I think this team's in real good shape. I've told you before, I think they're going to be the number one wild card, and I think they're going to be extremely dangerous come postseason time. As far as the Eagles go, like September 10th can't come fast enough as far as I'm concerned. Like I am, you never want to fritter away the days, but I can't wait for this season to start. And I think they are going to be good. I do worry about the defense, but I think the offense is going to overcome it in the early going, and then the defense will be okay. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Rob Ellis Show. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys hanging. Looking forward to next week being with you as well. So everybody, listen, take care. Thank you. Tell a friend, and let's keep it rolling. I am Rob Ellis.